Right now, though, we want to talk a little bit more about Apple's highly anticipated fourth-generation iPhone. It went on sale today, and our columnist, Rich Jaroslovsky, joins us now with the new phone and the latest buzz. And what I really want to know, first off, is since I woke up this morning, I've been reading, actually since I went to bed last night, I've been reading about how this apparently, the antenna gets blocked when you hold it and talk on the phone and drops calls. What's your experience with that?
Well, I haven't seen that. I've seen dropped calls, unfortunately, and about at the same rate that I have them dropped on my older iPhone. But I've been sitting at my desk holding it, trying to hold it in this hand or that hand, and I haven't been able to actually induce a dropped call. It just happens.
You've been playing with it. You got it today, right?
Right.
Playing with it. So how much of a big change is it from the previous iPhone?
It's a pretty big change. The interface on it is quite a bit different. It does something approaching multitasking. It gives you the opportunity to sort of scroll through your recently used apps.
That's kind of cool.
It also gives you the opportunity to group apps.
Folders.
Folders.
Which is what I'm going to download when I get home from my 3GS, because you don't need the iPhone 4 to have the folders.
That's true. You can upgrade the 3GS to the new operating system, but it is a little sluggish on the 3GS, whereas on the iPhone 4, it just zips. There's a new chip in the iPhone 4. It is really fast.
But do we still have to be worried, though, about that overwhelmed AT&T network, don't we?
Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, besides the dropped calls, it just, you know, it's an ongoing problem that Apple and AT&T are struggling with. AT&T has been pouring resources into the network. One of the good things, however, about making voice calls on the iPhone 4 is that if you can get a call through, it sounds great. It sounds much better than on the 3GS. It's louder, it's clear. Apple's added a second microphone, and that really makes a difference.
I wonder, you had a video conference with our director, Mike J, today. How well does that technology work?
It works pretty well, and the main thing about it is that it's seamless. You know, we made the call over the cellular network as soon as we connected on FaceTime, which is what Apple calls its video conferencing service. The call transparently gets transferred to a Wi-Fi network. The main problem with it right now is the limitations on it. It only works if both people have an iPhone 4. It only works if you're using it if both people are on Wi-Fi networks. And no matter how many phones Apple sells, that's still going to be a limited universe for now.
You know,
not that limited, according to when I walked out of my apartment today. I live by the Apple Store on the west side, wrapped around the block. I drove by the Apple Store on Fifth Avenue, wrapped around the block, and then zigzagged on the block. But I mean, there were a lot of people out there.
But how many of those people do you know? Are you going to call? That's the real question.
You know, Rich, you play with all tech gadgets, and you've played with the Droid phones. I mean, how does this compare to, you know, the best Droid that's out there?
The Droid phones are good and getting better, but the Droid phones are a little geeky. And even now,
watch, I have one, so be careful.
Well, there you go.
They're clunky.
Not necessarily clunky, but they require a little bit of a little more techno savvy. The main thing about the way Apple does the iPhone is they really make it mainstream. It's a seamless user experience, and as good as the Droid phones are, and they're really good and getting better, they don't yet have that kind of seamless experience that Apple provides.
I'm getting, he's saying smarter for a Droid, not so smart for an Apple.
I get that too. I'll give it to you, but I think I have more fun with my iPhone than she has with her Droid. All right, hey Rich, thanks so much for joining us. Bloomberg News columnist Rich Jaroslovsky. His opinions are his and not necessarily those of Bloomberg LP.